Hello and welcome to another LinkedIn live session with myself, Nathan Hill, and with my good friend, Kevin Peters. We are here today to unpack all things about Avid and answer any and all questions that you have about the Avid platform. Before we dive in, I want to do a little round of introductions. I'll ask you all to introduce yourselves first, and then Kevin and I will dive in as well. I'll open up the chat on my end so I can see any of your comments that come through, but I would love to know a few things. Who are you? What organization are you from? And then where in the world are you tuning in from today? My name is Nathan Hill. I am out of my home office. I am in Plano, Texas today, and glad to be with you. I oversee all things training related here at Avid, and I am joined by, take it away.
Oh, I am Kevin Peters. I'm the Chief Technology Officer. I'm also with Nathan in Plano, about 25 yards away from him.
And I just oversee back and forth between the offices to make sure that we're all in sync for what we're about to do. So we're excited.
Worked out great.
Well, if you are just jumping on, joining us either on YouTube or on LinkedIn, feel free to jump into the comments. And again, let us know, who are you? What organization are you from? Where in the world are you tuning in from today? We'd love to get to know you a little bit more. And then start to think about what questions do you have related to the Avid platform. So Kevin and myself and a few of us last week, I think it was a week ago at this point, we're at AFP Icon, and then a few events after that as well. Got to go interact with a lot of different people that are working in the trenches of fundraising, trying to figure out how do we do more, usually with less resources, and try to grow our revenues, try to grow our budget so we can impact our mission. Had a lot of great conversations. And Kevin, any highlights from AFP Icon and the other events you were at?
So AFP Icon, this was my first time going, and I was blown away at the scale of that organization, to the tune that there's 6 floors, maybe 5 floors, and then they put us in the basement, which felt fitting. But just the thousands of nonprofit individuals that were there, and more than that, as we were talking to the other vendors, talking to other people down in the basement with us, I was impressed at just how fast the nonprofit tech is accelerating. The different features that are coming out, the different platforms that are spinning up. It's hard to keep track of what's out there and what to focus on these days.
Yeah, it really is. And there's so much noise in nonprofit software too, to know who's doing what and why is one platform different than another. And so that's part of the reason that we're going live today, to help clarify, where does Avid sit in that whole ecosystem? Because it really is a system to run your fundraising on, pretty unique from any of the other tools you may be familiar with. I'll give a couple shout outs. We've got some friends online. We've got my friend Khadija. We just talked this week a little bit earlier. So glad to have you join us. Joining us today, we've got Tim Turner, founder of Chief Hunger Fighter. Thank you for joining us. Again, for both of you and all the others that are joining us, if you got questions about the platform, feel free to start to drop those in the chat as well. Where we're going to go over the course of our time together today is Kevin's going to walk us through some of the highlights, the key features of Avid, and not to go do a technical walkthrough of how do you do this, that, and the other thing, but to really show you what this can start to do inside of your fundraising program to really transform results for you, save you time, and make you more effective. And then we'll unpack any and all questions that you have as you want to dive deeper into data questions and what can it do, what can it not do, that sort of thing. On my end, as I think back to our time at Icon, we met a whole bunch of people who are very excited about innovation, excited about what's next, looking for kind of the next big thing to move the needle on their program. I was just really encouraged to see that appetite. Not only are there more tools and more ideas and innovation coming into the space, but there's a real big appetite for it. I think it would be easy, in a time like today, to feel discouraged when a lot of nonprofits are going through difficult times, rethinking where funding comes from, as a lot of funding sources are changing. But people are, facing the challenges head on and ready to dive in with new technology, new tools, new approaches. So that's been really encouraging to just see across our industry and across our sector, is that people aren't getting, how I would say, they're not discouraged. They're embracing the challenge, and I think there's big things ahead for us as a nonprofit industry. So, all that said, Kevin, I'll hand it over to you. Do you want to walk us through and walk our viewers through Avid and what it can start to do for their programs?
Sure. And I'll start with just a little bit of the context behind the philosophy with Avid. And that is that I don't believe there's just one important metric. It's not just revenue. It's not just acquisition or lifetime value. To run a nonprofit, there's 100 metrics that you should care about. The reality, though, is there's just a couple you should care about today. And so with that being the case, my belief is let's first connect all the different systems. Let's connect the tools, whether it's your email platform, your donation platform, your CRM, your web analytics, your advertising, the email capture, so that once we have all that information in one place, we're able to go through it and just identify, and here's what's most important today. Here are the top 5 things that you should know on a regular, daily, weekly basis to be aware of. Reactivated donor retention rate and reactivation rate is down. My number of new donors being acquired is down. Now, at its core, Avid is a robust reporting platform that's able to split your data based on how you like to look at it, how the nonprofit views a channel, what the nonprofit calls a major donor. It's able to identify the donor life cycle, deep analytics around reporting on an appeal, more than just how much money did I raise? How many donors did I upgrade? How many recurring donors gave a one-time gift? What is the reactivation rate of this campaign? But no matter what or graph or system I'm looking at, the goal is that we can present the data in a way that makes you and identify something you didn't know about your own program. It should visualize the data in a way that's unique. And then once you identify what's that one trend I want to learn more about, all of the charts and graphs, every page is structured to answer that one question. So in this case, how much revenue is generated by my program? Well, if I'm 6% up, I want to know why. And so then down below, the way these reports get structured is it's going to have all the contributing factors that lead to it. Donors by year. We're going to look at average gift by year, revenue by month, donors by month, by giving level, by channel. The goal isn't to have so much data that you don't know what to do. The goal is to identify just a handful of charts, 10-ish charts, graphs, whatever the case is, and then have the system say, and here's why. If you're up 6%, there's multiple factors that contribute to it. Your revenue by channel for the planned giving is up 137%. Major projects is up $600,000. November saw an extra $421,000, so that it should present you some information. Some you'll know. November's up because a major donor left a bequest. That makes sense. But major projects being up is a surprise. Let me dig deeper in that and to figure out the why. Because then it can take you, because I believe data should tell a story. And this lets you follow that choose your own adventure style story that lets you drive and find that nugget, find the segment you want to take action on. And this is where Avid starts to differentiate itself from just reporting in charts and graphs, because it's good to get the data. It's good to find that information, but then you need to be able to take action on it. If I want to explore this non-recurring segment, what it allows me to do then is I can save it for further analysis, or I can push it. Meaning I can send this as an audience to Facebook. I can push it to my email platform, and a push is a misnomer. It's a constant daily sync. Getting the data in one location is hard, but then making sure those individual locations get it back out and stay in sync is a challenge most nonprofits deal with, whether your CRM does it natively or claims to do it natively or not. And so when we first launched Avid, we launched with this at its core, and we got some feedback that this is good, but some additional features were needed. One was the realization that the people that are in the system that need the data aren't necessarily the people asking for that information, meaning somebody's asking for, get me the number of donors for the board meeting, my chief development officer. Or the CEO is saying, I need to understand the performance at a high level. And so since we don't want to require everyone to log in, we made the very quick ability to just generate slides, download every chart and graph on this screen. And what it does is it produces more charts and graphs than you would need, with the goal being it's a lot easier to delete than create. We also heard back that it's nice that we're talking about the historicals, but I'm worried about what's happening in the future. I have goals I need to hit. How does this help me achieve those goals? Well, based upon that, we decided to do that a couple different ways. One, we can help you monitor those goals. And the reality is if I'm trying to calculate my targets for my year, usually we're dealing with big round numbers. If I want to raise $1.5 million, we'll say, I need to acquire, 200 donors. And I want 5,000 gifts. Usually what ends up happening is it's hard to know if I'm hitting my numbers. Am I on track to hit my goals? And what this does is it looks at the average by channel, by metric, by month over the past 3 years, removing outliers, removing that major donor that passed away, so he's not going to give again. So I can understand if I need to raise 1.5 million, here's how you do it. July is 150,000. When I hit December, it's nearly $500,000. So that once I save this, I'm able to come back and report on it. We can set goals by channel, by giving level, by portfolio, by an overall, so that it helps us track, am I going in the right direction for the numbers I need to hit? And if I'm not, what do I need to do about it? The other factor this got into was feedback was that it was a bit overwhelming with all the different metrics that go into it. And I get that. And the feedback was, I just want to know if I'm doing a good job. And so with that in mind, we built what we called the scorecard. This allows an organization at a glance to understand, am I doing a good job based on the 5 most important metrics of fundraising? Retention, reactivation, acquisition, upgrade, and awareness. So that if I'm looking at my program, and this is my Mushroom Kingdom, I'm a big Mario fan. Nathan and I both spent way too many hours as our childhood. Mushroom Kingdom is struggling this year in their different metrics.
Retention. Gift Officer Luigi, though, he is just crushing it right now.
He is doing the upgrade. He's making a hit. But the goal wasn't just say, is this good or bad? I can drill more into that. Acquisition is down. Is to give you a picture, and what does that mean? If these trends continue, where will my organization be next year and the year after that? Give me a 3-year window to understand, if I don't fix acquisition, where will I be? But if I do fix acquisition, what does my revenue look like? What does my donors look like? And it also helps zoom out beyond just what's happening this year to look at the bigger picture. Retention's down. If we don't fix that, well, it doesn't need to be fixed. Maybe we just need to correct it somewhat. And this allows us to pull these levers to better plan where our efforts should lie. Mm-hmm. Where I get excited is not just understanding what metrics should I care about. Where we're getting to next is, and what should I do about it? This is where we're excited to be rolling out playbooks in the coming weeks. That the idea is a good fundraising campaign, a good fundraising strategy is not a single channel. It's not a single action. If I send out a year-end campaign, it's not a letter. It's not just a letter and an email and donation page. It is 10 emails, Google ads, Facebook ads, text messages, landing pages, a direct mail letter, chase emails to follow up with that. We've mapped out not only what individual campaigns and projected ROI looks like, we're also saying, let us do it for you. Walk through that process to understand a donation page remarketing campaign. It generates the ads, pushes the audience, creates your Facebook ads, and then helps you understand, is it doing well or not? Mm-hmm. The goal is not to replace the fundraiser, is to get rid of the grunt work so that the fundraiser that knows their mission best can focus on the strategy, not just the execution.
Mm-hmm. The vision there is incredible. And, some of the conversations that I've been having with folks lately is really just around what does it require of us as fundraisers in 2025? Like the scale and the scope of what we have to create to run an effective campaign is dramatically different than what it was 10 years ago, let alone 20 plus years ago. The amount of creative that you have to put out in the market across multiple channels, multiplied by the number of segments that you really need to have personalized copy going towards personalized messaging, it's just too much. It's too much for the scale that your organization requires is more than what you have the resources for. And so that's why I'm really excited to see playbooks get in the hands of fundraisers, is to just multiply their effectiveness by giving them really easy to use tools at their fingertips that, to your point, takes away the grunt work to let them focus on the more important things. So lots of cool stuff coming with playbooks. I'll put up on the screen, if you do want to dive into a deeper dive walkthrough of the platform, specifically playbooks, if you want to see kind of what's built into there, because there's some really exciting things there, understand what's kind of available in the early access. I'd love to be able to walk you through the platform, and so would Kevin. So feel free to either scan the QR code or go to avidai.com/demo, and you can actually go book a time right then and there to jump in with our team to see how Avid can be a good fit for you and for your organization as you work to be more efficient, more effective, save some money in the process while also raising more at the same time. I will throw it back to our audience today, those who are joining and tuning in on LinkedIn and YouTube. If you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, and you want us to dive in to see like, oh, can you solve this data problem for me? Or I have this really burning question about my donors in this way. Can Avid help solve that? Feel free to drop those in the comments, and Kevin can show you around where you might find those types of answers. We do have a question that just came in basically saying around playbooks, is it AI creative tips? Is it just giving you tips on how to generate your creative, or can you unpack that a little bit more?
We get asked often, how is AI in this? Because there's a, rightly so, significant level of distrust of access and how it gets incorporated with our fundraising. Our donors' data is the most precious data the nonprofits have access to. And I feel the exact same way. So we utilize AI in the platform in a handful of different ways. One, it doesn't actually do the analysis for us. The analysis is done heuristically based upon, we've been fundraisers, myself and Nathan, going back combined maybe 30, 40 years doing this. More of those years are on mine than in his, given his, youthful nature. But we don't use it for the analysis. What we use it for is to translate technical to human. Meaning I have all these numbers and charts and graphs. I use AI to say, and what does that mean? Because I believe there's a handful of different skill sets that exist. And there are some people who can understand charts and graphs natively. And there's some that need a little bit of explanation. This provides that explanation. AI also helps with the data integrity side of things, of helping us understand what the data means at a mapping and quality control level. So you may not have a channel in your database, but it can look at the way you're storing your data and say, here are some ideas for ways you can categorize and make a channel based on what this is. And then also on the content generation side, that's where the scale really comes in. I'll tell you what doesn't get sent to data. We send no PII, personally identifiable information. We send no organizational information. If I say I've seen this as a summary data, it doesn't even know what organization it's for. So that we can ensure that there's no chance, even though what we're using is a private AI model, it's something that's integrated and oftentimes fine-tuned for the organization with playbooks. Everybody has their own model, meaning it learns your tone. It learns the way you like to talk. It learns what performs best for your audience. But it still doesn't know necessarily who you as an organization are.
Yeah. The other thing I would add on top of that too, as it relates to playbooks, is you can go out to ChatGPT and you can ask it to give you fundraising ideas. And you might have some good brainstorming back and forth, just kind of prompting back and forth. But tools like that don't sit on top of your performance to understand what is going to be most effective for you right now. It also can't go talk to your tools and actually go deploy creative for you. And so that's really the exciting thing about playbooks, is that it is far more than just looking at ChatGPT and brainstorming some ideas. It understands fundraising, it understands you, and it can actually help you complete kind of that end-to-end picture of creation to deployment. So lots of cool things there. If you want to see what that looks like in reality, we can go walk you through that if you go ahead and book some time with us to take a tour of the platform.
And that's just for clarity. That's what we mean by content generation. It writes the emails, it writes the donation pages, and then creates them in your system. Makes it in HubSpot, makes it in MailChimp, creates the emails, attaches the audience. All you have to do is review the draft and press send.
Someone the other day said, well, that's like magic. I think, well, it's not magic. It's Avid. Avid can do it for you. I like that line. It sounded good. We've got another question from Avid saying, can Avid integrate with Salesforce? And if so, can it receive data from Salesforce and send it to other marketing tools like Constant Contact?
Short answer is yes. Salesforce is one of the more complex CRMs. But the reality is it comes down to is about 8 to 10 configurations an individual can make within it. So we can connect directly to the Salesforce, be able to import that data. We can also connect to Pardot and some of the other Salesforce associated tools. But then, yes, we then push and have the ability to push out to Constant Contact, MailChimp, HubSpot, SendGrid, ActiveCampaign. The list goes on and on. But the reality is we've entered into a world that exists now that Avid couldn't have been made 2 years ago, because the number of open, what we call APIs, ways to push data into these systems, especially in the nonprofit world, didn't exist before now. Now they do. So now that's what we have to focus on.
Avid, to add even some more kind of thoughts to your question, I've chatted with a few organizations just in the past couple of weeks who are kind of in that same boat. They're using Salesforce. They're also using Constant Contact. And what they're finding is that as you're able to go turn on what we call pathways, where you're connecting those audiences from like pulling the data out of Salesforce, creating segmentation inside of Avid, you can go push it to Constant Contact. You don't have to really worry about your segmentation inside of Constant Contact anymore. You know that you're going to have better audiences because it's fully enriched by your CRM. And then once you set up an audience, it's just done for you. So things like donor suppression lists for a campaign. You don't have to stay up till midnight pulling lists out of one tool, pushing them in before the email send goes out the next morning. It's done for you in the background, as well as things like you're running a advertising campaign to try to get people to reactivate. You don't want to keep pushing audiences over to something like Facebook ads when they've already given, if the goal is to get them to reactivate for that first time. You want to keep those lists up to date so you get the lowest cost and the best performance. And Avid can sit in the middle there and facilitate that. So it's fundraising that's done for you. So lots of cool opportunities.
Why don't we show them that real quick?
Sure. Yeah, feel free to bring it up. As you pull that up, I see Stephen would like credit for the line that it's not magic, it's Avid. So we'll give that credit where credit's due to Stephen Boudreau. So thanks for that. As Kevin's pulled it up as well, you may have. I think I need to turn it on. Let me.
Doesn't say I'm at your.
Here we go. We're back.
This is just to speak to what Avid was asking. This is the idea of if you have individual audiences, if I have my live bunts, if I have my whatever. The goal is I want it here. I want to send it to HubSpot, MailChimp, wherever the case may be. You hit review. Oh, that one needs additional access. It goes and grants it. Or I can say, let's push it to Facebook. Great. This is where we can get in and say, does this look good? Confirm. And it just stays up to date. We want to remove that grunt work. Moving data is unsecure. It causes issues. And the moment you upload it, it's out of date. This keeps everything in sync and in date.
Pretty incredible and pretty powerful. If you're out there and you're still wondering, any questions about what Avid can do for you, again, feel free to drop them in the comments. But if you'd like, again, to go dive deeper and actually see a deeper dive, a deeper level into what all these various tools and functionality inside of Avid can do for your organization, again, feel free to book some time with us, go book a demo, and we'll spend dedicated time with you to understand what's going on in your world, in your program, within your donors, what are your challenges, and how might Avid sit in the middle of your tech stack, not replacing your CRM or other tools, but allowing them to actually communicate for the first time and giving you that system to actually go run your fundraising on top of, to be more efficient, more effective, saving money while raising more. So lots of opportunity here with Avid. Kevin, any parting thoughts from you? Any encouragement to our viewers today?
No, whether it's Avid or another tool, I tell you, be trying out the new things. There's ways that we have being made every single day that can make our lives easier, allow us to raise more. But we got to try those new things, be willing to give it a shot.
Absolutely. Well said. Well, thank you, Kevin. Thank you for your time. Thanks for walking us all through what Avid can do for us. Again, if you want to jump in with us, feel free to go to avidai.com/demo and we'll walk you through the tool. Ooh, getting a question in right at the last second. Do we activate meta ads from the Avid platform once we send a targeted audience there? How does that connection work, Kevin?
So technically, Avid has the ability to turn on the ads, create the ads, send the audiences, create the lookalikes. I currently do not turn on the ads because we're in early access phase and it's a very scary prospect to start spending someone else's money. So the ads will be created, the links will be tracked, the audiences will be there. You log into Facebook and verify they look right, press start.
One of my favorite like little hidden features is that all the UTMs are written for you and get pushed for you. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know the pain that you go through sometimes of generating all the various UTM strings for all your ads, all your links, and all your emails. It's done for you. What a time saver. What a relief. Especially the worry that, oh, am I going to type something wrong? Is it going to get messed up? And it's done for you. It's amazing. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you again, Kevin, for your time. We appreciate it. If you have any further questions, feel free to just drop us another note here on LinkedIn, shoot us a message, send us an email. We're here for you. That said, have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.